You wake up, but the nightmare keeps going. You're in your room, but something's wrong. There's a whisper coming from the corner. You feel like you're being watched. You check your phone. No one's there. But the fear? It's real. You try to shake it off, but it follows you through the day, like a shadow you can't outrun. This isn't a dream. This is someone's real life. Marissa was 23 when it started. Bright, artistic, a little anxious, but nothing unusual. Then she stopped sleeping. She told her friends her neighbors were spying on her. She started hearing voices, soft at first, then louder, urgent, angry. She locked her door, covered the mirrors, slept in the closet, not because she wanted to hurt anyone, because she thought someone was trying to hurt her. People saw her as paranoid, unstable, maybe even dangerous. But the truth? Marissa wasn't violent. She was terrified. And alone. That's the part people miss. Schizophrenia isn't the villain in horror movies. It's a misunderstood mental illness that affects millions. And the real danger isn't the person who's sick. It's how the world treats them. What if I told you people with schizophrenia are far more likely to be victims of violence than to cause it? That what they need isn't isolation or fear, but support, treatment, and understanding? Because what they're fighting is already hard enough. They don't need the world turning against them, too. This episode is about truth, about challenging what we think we know, about separating fear from fact. If you're ready to unlearn some things and maybe see someone like Marissa differently, then let's begin. Let's start with this. Schizophrenia does not mean split personality. It's not Jekyll and Hyde. It's not about becoming someone else. That's a completely different disorder called dissociative identity disorder. Schizophrenia, on the other hand, is about a break from reality, not identity. In the simplest terms, schizophrenia is a chronic brain disorder that affects how a person thinks, feels, and perceives the world. Imagine your brain's filter. What helps you tell real from imagined? Suddenly glitching. Sounds that aren't there feel real. Thoughts become tangled. Emotions go flat. You're not just confused, you're unanchored. Schizophrenia symptoms usually fall into two big buckets, positive and negative. Positive doesn't mean good. It means things added to your experience that shouldn't be there. Like hallucinations, hearing voices, seeing things, or delusions, false beliefs that feel absolutely true, like thinking you're being followed when you're not, or that you have secret powers. Then there are negative symptoms, the things that are missing, like emotion, motivation, joy. Sometimes people just go flat, withdraw, stop engaging. It's not sadness, it's emptiness. Another key sign? Disorganized thinking. A person might jump from topic to topic or speak in a way that's hard to follow. Sentences might not connect logically. It's not because they're dumb. It's because their brain is firing in ways that make it hard to organize thoughts the way we're used to. No two people with schizophrenia are exactly the same. Some hear voices, others don't. Some live full, independent lives with treatment. Others struggle more deeply. It's not a one-size-fits-all diagnosis, and that's what makes it so tricky. Because what works for one person might not work for another. And sometimes the hardest part isn't the illness itself, but convincing people it's real. We've talked about what schizophrenia is. Now let's talk about what it actually feels like. What it's like to fall into a psychotic break. Because facts are one thing, but lived experience, that hits differently. For Marissa, it started with a whisper, a soft, muffled voice behind the wall. She thought it was her neighbor at first. Then she realized it wasn't in the wall. It was inside her head. Every day it got louder, and it wasn't alone. Soon there were 3 voices, then 5, talking over each other, criticizing her, laughing at her, telling her things she didn't want to hear and things she couldn't ignore. She stopped answering her phone. She blocked the windows with towels. She thought people were watching her through the light bulbs. She was sure her roommate was recording her while she slept. Her heartbeat was a siren in her chest, always on. She couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't think. Her mind felt hijacked, and worst of all, she didn't know what was real anymore. One night, she walked for hours, convinced she was being followed. She ducked into alleys, climbed fences, ended up in a part of town she didn't recognize. She called the police, but hung up halfway through, afraid they were part of it too. She started writing down numbers, codes, symbols, trying to make sense of a pattern she thought only she could see. When her parents came to check on her, she didn't recognize them. She thought they were imposters. She screamed at her mom, pushed her dad. It wasn't because she hated them. It was because her brain had twisted the wires of reality so deeply that nothing felt safe, not even love. Eventually, Marissa collapsed in a grocery store, crying, barefoot, shaking. Security called 911. She was taken to a hospital in handcuffs, not because she was violent, but because she wouldn't stop screaming. Not because she was a threat, but because she was drowning, and no one knew how to throw her a lifeline. This is what a psychotic break can look like. It's messy, it's terrifying, and it's real. It's not about being crazy. It's about your mind betraying you, glitching, collapsing, turning against itself. And unless you've been there, you have no idea how loud it gets in the silence. So the next time you hear the word schizophrenia, I hope you don't picture a horror movie. I hope you picture someone like Marissa, scared, lost, human, in need of help, not judgment. In the next part, we'll talk about where this all begins, what causes schizophrenia, and why it's never as simple as it looks. So how does this happen? How does someone like Marissa, bright, kind, functional, end up swallowed by her own mind? Schizophrenia doesn't come out of nowhere, but it's also not as simple as one cause, one trigger. Most scientists agree, schizophrenia is a brain-based illness. It has to do with how the brain processes information, specifically how it regulates chemicals like dopamine. Dopamine helps us process reward, motivation, and meaning. When it's off balance, the brain can assign meaning to things that aren't really significant, like a random sound or a glance from a stranger. Suddenly, a passing car isn't just a car. It's a message, a warning, a threat. There's also a strong genetic component. If a close family member has schizophrenia, your chances increase. But it's not guaranteed. You can carry the gene and never develop the illness. It's more like potential, not destiny. Think of it like a loaded gun. Genetics may load it, but environment pulls the trigger. That trigger can be many things: severe stress, childhood trauma, bullying, social isolation, even certain drug use during teenage years, especially substances like cannabis, LSD, or meth, which can increase the risk dramatically in those who are already vulnerable. It's often a perfect storm, biology and experience colliding at the worst possible time. For many, schizophrenia first shows up in the late teens to mid-20s, right when life is supposed to be starting. College, jobs, relationships. It's like your brain pulls the rug out from under you just as you're trying to stand on your own. And because the symptoms build slowly, it's easy to miss the warning signs until things spiral out of control. You know what hurts more than the voices, the delusions, the confusion? The way people treat you because of it. The looks, the whispers, the labels. For many living with schizophrenia, the stigma is more damaging than the illness itself. Let's bust a big one. People with schizophrenia are not inherently violent. In fact, they're far more likely to be harmed than to harm someone. Studies show less than 10% of violent crimes involve people with schizophrenia, and when it does, substance abuse is often a bigger factor. So where does the fear come from? from movies, shows, news headlines. You've seen the trope, the crazy killer, the unhinged lunatic, the dangerous stranger. But those are characters, scripts. They're not real. And yet they've shaped how we see real people struggling with a real illness. Another myth? Schizophrenia is not split personality. That's an entirely different disorder. Schizophrenia involves distorted thinking and perception, not alternate identities. But thanks to pop culture, people still confuse the two, and that confusion leads to fear. Because of these myths, people with schizophrenia often isolate, not because they want to, but because they're made to feel like monsters. Friends back away, employers stop calling, even family grows distant. And when the world treats you like a threat, it's hard not to believe it yourself. But here's what most people don't know. Many with schizophrenia are self-aware. They're kind, creative, funny. They want connection. They want a job, a home, love, just like anyone else. What they need isn't fear or pity. It's respect, access to treatment, and belief in their potential. The scariest part of schizophrenia isn't the illness. It's being completely misunderstood. Let's not add to the noise. Let's break the stigma instead. Let's be real. There's no magic pill that cures schizophrenia. It's not like taking antibiotics and waking up healed. But that doesn't mean people can't get better. They absolutely can. With the right treatment, recovery isn't just possible. It's happening every day. For many, treatment starts with antipsychotic medication. These don't erase the illness, but they help reduce hallucinations, calm delusions, and stabilize thinking. It often takes trial and error to find the right one. Side effects are real, but for those who stick with it, the changes can be life-altering. Medication is just one piece. Therapy, especially cognitive behavioral therapy, helps people understand their thoughts, recognize triggers, and develop coping skills. Support groups, peer counseling, day programs, these build routine, connection, and purpose. And that's huge. Recovery doesn't happen in isolation. It takes a support system, a doctor who listens, a family that doesn't give up, a friend who checks in, a workplace that gives second chances. Sometimes the most powerful treatment isn't found in a pharmacy. It's found in people who believe in you. Recovery doesn't mean the illness disappears. It means learning to live with it. It means being able to hold a job, go to school, form relationships. It might mean setbacks, relapses, hard days. But it also means good days, laughing, creating, contributing, becoming more than the diagnosis. Too often, people hear schizophrenia and think lost cause, but that's wrong. Many live full, meaningful lives. Some never relapse. Some write books, raise kids, change the world. The key is early intervention, consistent care, and one powerful ingredient: hope. Let's get something straight. People with schizophrenia don't just survive. Many of them thrive. They're not just patients. They're artists, parents, scientists, leaders. And their diagnosis is just one chapter, not the whole story. Take John Nash, for example, the Nobel Prize-winning mathematician whose life inspired the film A Beautiful Mind. He lived with paranoid schizophrenia for decades. He battled delusions, hallucinations, hospitalizations, but he also reshaped economic theory and mentored young minds. His legacy isn't just academic, it's human, and he's not alone. There's Ellen Sachs, a legal scholar and professor who's written powerfully about her life with schizophrenia. Or Lionel Aldridge, a former NFL player who developed the condition after retirement and became a mental health advocate. These aren't exceptions, they're examples. Proof that with support, people with schizophrenia can live loud, full, unapologetic lives. We need to stop telling the same tired story, that schizophrenia equals tragedy, that it's a dead end. It's not. What it is difficult, yes. Complex, absolutely. But impossible? No. The truth is more hopeful than we've been told. And the more we share stories like these, the more we rewrite what schizophrenia looks like, not as something to fear, but something we can face together. So now you know more, maybe more than you ever did before, about schizophrenia, about what it really looks like, about the people who live with it, and the strength it takes just to make it through a single day. The question is, what will you do with that understanding? Will you share it? Will you challenge the next joke someone makes about being schizo? Will you be the one who sees the person, not just the diagnosis? Maybe you've known someone with schizophrenia. Maybe you've struggled with it yourself. Or maybe you've just realized how much you didn't know. Whatever it is, we want to hear from you. Your story, your questions, your voice matters. Drop it in the comments below. And if this video changed how you see things, even just a little, give it a like. Share it with someone who needs to understand this too. And hit subscribe if you want more honest conversations about mental health. No fluff, no shame. Thanks for being here, for listening, for caring. Take care of yourself and others. Always.